Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Timestamp, I'm about to go on a backpacking trip. I don't know if it's a bad idea to wear the dangling guy, but I definitely want to be like, on top of a mountain and then just going like, so that's why. Anyways, back to the video. Yeah, so, I'll be back later. But this topic that I am just talking about right now, I premise this. I don't want to say any answers or what you should do or anything like that. But the purpose of me just talking right now, I'm just throwing out ideas to think about, within your own life, or maybe my experience of what I've gone through and stuff like that. And kind of just words that just might mean nothing, but might mean something. I don't know, But, I would kind of like to talk about this topic of self-development, right? So, myself, right? I'll give you some milestones. Graduating high school, milestone, but sorry. Graduating high school and stuff, and I feel like if people meet me nowadays, they would never have imagined that I was a very introverted person and couldn't talk to anyone, or felt like I was in a shell that I couldn't break out of because other people's opinions about me that I don't even know and how I thought they perceived me. And it really restricted a lot, right? From going from that to being someone that's very seemingly outgoing, that doesn't have a problem with anxiety or just that sort of deal, right? And that was a part of the whole thing that existed. It was a part of my story about my self-development as a person, about something that I wanted to change about myself. And I really did the 180 on it throughout time. And I feel like this is a good example of, from myself, something that I accomplished, but that doesn't mean that I got better in other ways of my life of self-development. And, sometimes afterwards, I was in situations, after becoming immune to anxiety, put in situations that made me feel like I wasn't okay in a way. And I would just have to remind myself, this is normal. This is okay, that, even though you got better at this part in your life, that this other part, it doesn't mean it disqualifies anything that you've worked on. It's just different, right? And about me saying this, one thing I realize about self-development is that, as the trail keeps going of self-development, the decisions about topics, right? Topics, how you want to conduct yourself. Example, how you feel about love, interactions with people you love, or, what things are sacred to you, or what things you don't want to do, they're taboo for yourself, or, standards you want to hold. It's really difficult to really try to figure these things out, especially when the society being so, there's so many angles to care about, and there's so much mainstream stuff that like kind of can cloud your judgment, you know, about what you actually want. And a thing that I feel like I learned about this whole thing for myself about that is that it helps to know what your values are in the future, about what you want in the future. Because I think that allows you to kind of help with trying to figure out the present when it's very difficult to make a decision about, oh, how do I feel about me doing this right now? Or, you know, like, it helps get a starting point thinking about the future. And also the past that you remember. As like a together effort to figure out kind of like a pivot point for yourself. But there's one thing that I do, look at that guy behind me, just chilling. There's one thing I do want to talk about though that's dangerous for a road of self-development is you know, I think it's important to be able to do everything by yourself, you know, to really like drive, really like keep fighting, keep pushing, be determined, right? But there's something about that though that is not good. And I think the thing about that is not good is keeping things to yourself. Especially when you feel like no one understands you. Like, because then, let me speed run you on this part. Then you learn the answers that you could have learned with talking to people. You learn it a lot. It takes you a lot longer to learn, actually. And then, you know, that period where it takes you a lot longer to learn, you know, being able to learn it faster because you've been trying to hit on it from different angles. You know, that right there. Let me save you some time, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it like that. Please don't do it like that. I mean, if it happens, it makes sense at the end of it. But you really save yourself a lot of time with just like, you know, acting more like a team. And every part of your life. You know, like, you know, when I say team, kind of in a way that, like, I mean that, like, I'm trying to find the words. To, like, it's about being vulnerable, but it's also about like oh, I got it. Using the team to try to understand yourself. Yeah, I think those are the right words. Because if you try to do everything by yourself and you're not doing that part I just said, oh no. Oh no. Because then you don't like you're not you're not able to like see what you might want to be trying to what you might want to try to fix about yourself. Because I feel like that mindset allows to like look at it at a different angle in a way that is more reflection based instead of other people doing things. It actually puts more work on doing it all by yourself in a way that tries to push further, push further through kind of like that, kind of like a shell, right? Like push further. I'm really curious about this right now. Shell, right? Really like push through your shell, right? So this is the shell right here, right? Shell exists. Maybe you're not the best person and you have problems and you have insecurities, right? All right, so push through the shell. You think stuff is happening and you're kind of just like blaming people. You're kind of just being mean maybe. Or I don't know. Maybe just like projecting it somewhere in some way and somehow, Somehow it's being like bloop, bloop, projected, bloop, 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 And I really feel like that last mindset thing I said can really help, like, at least go like this, Boop. Make a breakthrough of something to be able to maybe understand all of this over here. Or maybe why. And, like, with self-development, it's like, sometimes you just get so focused on something and it takes a long time to like try to fix it yourself, that like you kind of miss that whole example that I was explaining. Because if you do it all by yourself and you really go down that road, there's a point where you start getting on the road where you're like, you kind of need help in a way that you don't understand.